You
We're live.
realize, right?
Hi.
that-
Hi, we're live. Go ahead, Ro.
Are we?
Yes,
No,
we
no.
are live.
I
We don't have any viewers currently, so go ahead.
was just going. If we do, I was just going to say that
There we are.
Popovich is our second to the last single guest this year,
Oh,
and
Emma.
everything else we have this year is multiple guests.
Oh, that's
Um,
exciting.
That might not be true.
We have Morgan in a couple of days,
Yes.
and then producing your book, publicizing your book, selling your book, and SFF looking backward, looking forward.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's all you know about.
Hey, Alex.
But that's the 27th of December. There's more.
There might be one more person who I met at the show this weekend when I was doing my pole dancing lessons.
How'd that go, by the way?
Yeah, how are you feeling?
Back is a little sore, but we'll get over it. I got some wonderful pictures I'll share later.
Oh, please do. Did you wear the costume that I sent you?
Yes, tassels and all.
Oh, excellent. With the
We don't need to see that.
glitzy rhinestones.
Nobody needs to see that.
Hey, Jazzy. Hey, Morgan.
So we have somebody, New York NYC Boot Campers Anonymous here. I don't think I've ever seen this name in our chat before. Huh?
It's Jazzy.
It's Jazzy. Jazzy is currently writing under, oh my goodness, I'm on the spot. She wrote The Druid's Son by,
Another Druid book.
yes, another Druid book.
Like so,
I'm so sorry, Jazzy. I'm dropping the ball on your name. It's Merrill, Merrill, but I forgot the first name. It was a derby book also.
you missed it, though. Mike wasn't here last show, and I just said that he was taking pole dancing lessons. So,
Jamie Merrill, yeah. By the Druid.
Hello, Jamie.
She wrote The Druid's Son, which is such a good book. I really hope you guys take a look at that.
Well, after I'm done the one I'm currently working on, my next book will be a Druid book. So
Yes.
a Druid with
books,
a drinking problem and potentially Tourette's, I'm thinking.
Oh no.
Yeah, I thought that might be kind of fun.
That sounds really fun.
Yeah.
Ambitious had a kind of druidistic. Wow, man, words is hard. So I had like a necromancer character, and then like this druid, and like the necromancers and the druids are fighting, and so obviously one point of view is a necromancer and the other is a druid. So it was really fun.
So
very opposed.
Poppy, we have not been scolded yet by E.L. Montague, which means that he's probably late. But he's going to insist that you show the covers of your books. So,
okay.
And
we should do that before he comes in. Is that what you're saying?
And Tim McKay is saying good evening to all the fiends.
Hi, Tim.
So, Poppy, what the hell are you drinking?
I am drinking Earl Grey out of a giant
Winnie
thing
the
from a
Pooh's
local
honey
restaurant.
pot. It looks like Winnie the Pooh's honey pot.
I don't know what these are called. They have a fancy name in Spanish that I would pronounce and offend everybody, so I'm not going to try.
I wouldn't notice a difference.
Like 30 ounces of tea in there. That's crazy.
It's very hot. It holds the temperature way better than I thought it would. So this will be fun.
And you have an Earl Grey tea fan in the comments with you. But can you show up your book? Can you hold up your books for us before EL yells at us?
Yes, absolutely. So I've got Not Your Mountain, which is, or should I pitch him or?
Hold them closer.
Hold them closer. There you go.
So we can see those beautiful covers. I'm guessing these are not romantasy based on the covers.
No, they're not. There is some romance, but it's not the centralized theme of this one. And it plays a bigger part in here, but there's a lot to talk about. Yeah, it's not, I wouldn't call it a romantasy. It's a fantasy with romance in it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like just like a smattering or like a whole plot line?
It is a plot line in and of itself because it delves a lot into their relationship and why going no contact for 50 years is kind of a problem. And how you can't just like pick things up as they were before.
They've been apart 50 years?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I like them already. Why'd they get back together? It sounds like it's
a womb or something.
I'm sorry, bro.
You said did they meet in the womb or something? I mean,
No. So we have,
the
you know,
elf.
a dwarf who probably lives 150, 200 years or so.
Okay. All right.
When he leaves his mountain at the beginning of the book, he is a new adult, fresh out of the mountain at 30 years old, as God intended, because I feel like we're not adults until we're 30 anyways. So yeah, he's 30 here, and which makes this guy very old.
I don't know what John Force comment means, so I'm not going to put it up. Is it not his mountain, says Martin.
Well, it's not Samuel's mountain, that's for sure. It's not a lot of people's mountain. I don't even think I could say it's my mountain.
Yes. But did you not write the mountain into existence?
I wrote the mountain into existence, but I don't think I can lay claim to it like that. That's a lot of land. How would I deal with that on the property taxes, Ro?
Well, I think you know, a metaphysical amount of land should require a metaphysical amount of taxes, which is to say no.
I got the saving grace for you. All you got to do is talk to Laura, and she can get her dragon to give you some of his wealth to pay for your taxes.
There we go. I think that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, mountain should come with a dragon.
Jazzy, I'll split the mountain with you also. We'll
All right.
be co-owners of the mountain.
Alex, if you put your flag on the mountain, it shall be torn down with much vengeance.
With much vengeance.
All right, so you have a book that has a bar across it, which means it's not released yet.
Actually, this one has been released. This is just my signed copy. I had a bunch of very close friends sign it for me. Actually, this one is not the one that I thought it was. And because it wasn't out when those people signed it, people that are very close to me, very dear friends of mine, signed it for me. So it's my special copy.
See, Mike doesn't have that problem.
No.
No, I don't have friends, so you know.
I wasn't going to say you don't have friends.
I just sign it multiple times myself, and you know.
Over and over.
Used his left hand a couple of times. Yeah.
Well, and this one is kind of similar. This is a lot of the same people. And I also have Travis Baldry that signed this one for me.
Oh, nice.
At Norwest Con. Yep. And then I have to do the Bug Hunter. If you haven't listened to Bug Hunter or the Narcissist Cookbook or Galloway, they're fantastic artists and you should check them out. Music.
So other people are very happy with their signed copies as well.
Aw, that's so sweet. Hi, guys.
So,
I think people come to see the hat, actually.
I think so.
That sounds pretty bad. It wasn't meant to be offensive. I'm just going to stop talking.
You know, so I'm a very small person. So this is where the hats kind of come in, is I'm a tiny person. And when we go to conventions or when I'm going out with people, they can't find me because I tend to wander off. So I need bright yellow hats that have things on them for people to find me.
There's a good message for anybody who has to watch you in your old age now. It's like, put a big yellow hat on her head. She wanders off.
Yep. It's easier than a balloon because I think balloons can fly off on their own. So
yeah, plus they're horrible for the environment.
Yeah, that also.
But it's good too if you go to places like a book show or something. People, I mean, there you are, right?
Yeah.
Mike, maybe you should give that a try because the ball doesn't stand out quite the same way.
No, not when I share a table with James Maxey, who has the same hairstyle as me.
But yeah, try a hat.
Appropriately proportioned to her mug.
Yeah.
I just see you holding it with two hands, and all I picture is Pooh Bear stuffing his face in it, and oh, bother me, blah blah blah. You know, trying to get.
Yeah.
So we'll have you on a second time. We'll talk about your books, but we're just going to talk about your hat tonight.
This is your second time, right?
This is hat time? Is that what you said?
The first time Poppy was on was the Fantasy Feud.
Well, that still counts as two.
Yeah, this is my second time. You guys have get to deal with me twice.
And you'll be on again for Fantasy Feud.
I sure will because we won. And we're going to win again. You hear that, Secret Scribes? You heard it here.
The gauntlet is thrown.
No, that'll be so much fun.
Okay, so Not Your Mountain is out.
It's out.
As Rogue desperately tries to get back on track. What are you working on now then?
I'm working on the prequel of the Not Your Adventure series. So we have Not Your Mountain, which is book 1, and then we have Not Your Bargain, which is book 2. And there's some things that happen in book 2 that I felt like the readers needed to hear about. And so now I have a prequel about Samuel, one of the characters in there, and how he got to be where he is today and why he is the way that he is. So that's coming out, I think, in February.
Is it a full length prequel?
It's what?
Is it a full length prequel or like a novella prequel?
It's novella sized. I would say it's coming out to about 40,000 words. So it's longer than Not Your Mountain, but it is shorter than Not Your Bargain.
That book you just showed, Not Your Mountain, is less than 40,000 words?
It is. It's 36.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a fast read. I made it small so that it didn't look pitiful. I made for the dimensions where made me feel better about myself.
It looks normal sized in your hands, though, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's totally a normal sized book. I am a normal sized person.
You like making other people feel like giants when they pick things up.
So, Poppy, you could have been nice to people like Ro and I and just made it a really large font.
There you go.
Oh, no.
Oh, that is absolutely true. Poppy understands.
Because I have like 3 different settings on my glasses when I wear them. And it's such a nuisance. And yes, larger type would help alleviate a lot of that.
Yeah, I'll have to get a large print size out. That's one of the things that I'm aiming to do in the near future is make my book more accessible.
So I'm reading most everything on Kindle now, and I can get the font. I can blow it up. I mean, I can do like 7 pages a minute easy now. I mean, it's only
do you keep the same 500-page limit on a Kindle?
No.
I tried one time to pull the font size really, really low to make myself feel like I could speed read, and then I couldn't, I was like, oh no, my eyes are going bad. That's a shame. I can't do this like I used to.
Wait till you're in your 50s.
Yeah.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear.
Then pole dancing is really hard.
Yeah. Especially on the joints.
Yep, lower back. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Dollhouse.
Dollhouse sized. Yeah.
That's rude.
Here's a dumpling. Do you want a dumpling for scale? Here.
So, Poppy, who is the main character in your book? We're going to actually.
Valiant effort, Michael. Valiant effort.
We are really good at this, guys. If anyone was ever concerned, we're totally professionals.
Oh, God, no. No one's ever accused us of that.
So, Not Your Mountain, the main character here is a young dwarf called Matty or Matrodat Hammerbeard. And he's a spry young thing of 30 years old, naive. He's very fun. He was a very fun character to write.
Well, tell us about him.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Matrodat Hammerbeard, he's a little bit naive. He saw this dwarf come into his mountain when he was very young, and the mountain is shut off at the beginning of the books to the outside world. So him leaving his town, his family, his vocation of working in the mines is a really, really big deal because nobody does this. Nobody leaves. But he has this memory from when he's a child where he met a dwarf who came home from an adventure. And I didn't catch the dumpling comment, but that's okay. Yes, I think that the mountain belongs to the dumpling. It may attest to that. So he he kind of leaves and he goes out and he's looking for dragons to slay and he's looking for damsels to save. And instead of any of that, he gets robbed on his very first night, gets mugged and left for dead in the middle of the road. All of his things are stolen, and he kind of is, I can't go home now because everybody's going to tell me I told you so. And so how do I live out in this world and maybe become an adventurer, but how do I survive? And I can't go home because I don't want people to, say, oh, I told you so. So he ends up at a farm, and then, the story goes from there.
So your main character, if I can make sure I follow this,
yes,
is a wannabe adventurer.
Yeah.
Who was going out looking for chicks to save and dragons to slay, but got mugged.
Gets mugged.
Right. So he basically lost to the Zamboni. He lost to something like a mugger.
Yes. And not only that, but two very dumb guys. It's kind of funny. The back and forth between these two muggers and their boss is just really funny in the sense of these are really dumb guys that are robbing him in the middle of the road and kind of taking advantage of his naivety and beating him up and leaving him for dead.
It's probably just as well that he got mugged then, because he would have absolutely got his ass handed to him.
Yeah.
Had something,
ferocious like a Zamboni.
Right? Yeah.
Like a Zamboni.
So what is the flora and fauna? Is this desert landscape where he's at? Mountain? What is it?
The area that he's in is very forested. Lots of evergreens, some deciduous. Yeah. Small town villages moving into a larger city as he picks up a mercenary job to protect a caravan from monsters.
So
I was waiting for Rose's expression on this.
I just think the guy has to have some kind of idea that maybe this isn't what I should be doing. Perhaps I should look into a career in accounting or something.
But money pays. Money pays very nicely.
Well, he couldn't beat off muggers. I'm sorry, that came out wrong. He could not defend himself against muggers.
Let me just say that I am really looking forward to the Bald Dome when we get to that.
Oh yeah,
right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to insert young Matterdat Hammerbeard.
But I have two new questions to debut.
Oh boy.
That Rose not even heard.
New questions. Really exciting.
I wasn't nervous before, but now I am.
It took us 161 people, but we got new questions.
Okay. Do you have any fears like of heights or spiders or scorpions or anything like that? This is part one of the question.
I feel like this is going to come up again.
And part two is, if two bald YouTube sensations offered you fame and fortune, would you face down that fear?
One of my biggest fears is heights. I've always been the kid that climbs up a tree and just like a cat cannot get down and has to scream for help. Because I love going up. I don't like coming down.
So you're a cat.
You heard it here, folks. I am a feline. Yeah. Why am I here? Actually, sorry. I better go. This human thing isn't working out for me. My biggest fear is answering personal questions. There we go on Nintendo. Hey, buddy. Glad to see you here. Yeah. So I would probably, if you were offering me fame and fortune, I would absolutely get onto a house roof and try not to jump off or fall off, I guess.
So now my question, because we used to do this when we were little and it was the 70s, and you could do things like this. We would get on top of the roof of our house and then we'd jump into our above ground pool. Would you do that?
For fame and fortune?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, fame and fortune, keep in mind, we have 369 subscribers to our channel. So there are degrees of fame and fortune, and we hit neither.
I mean, that's fair. I get 11 viewers on my interview series. So already you're ahead of me. I will take 200 of those if you don't mind.
Yeah, fame and fortune from us is really kind of Well, we talk about fiction, and that's part of it. So,
So, but I have a follow-up question now. You
Sure.
you have your own channel,
further questions.
and you have 11 people watch. And do you wear that hat when you interview?
I wear any of these hats and
And,
more.
and you only get 11 people when you're wearing fantabulous hats like those?
Isn't that like it's a tragedy? It really is.
It is, actually.
I'm going to have to, cancel my order to Amazon. I ordered those the very same hats.
I don't think the yellow goes with your complexion.
I don't know. It would reduce the shine.
It might reduce a little bit of the shine. It might
It'll
bring out a
help
little
all
bit
of
of
us.
the red in your cheeks, though.
Well, I work at a personal care and I make color cosmetics. So maybe I'll just start, making color cosmetics for me.
Here you go.
I-
Just
I-
color correction. I need some of that.
I try to picture you at work, Mike. Not often, but every now and then. And because you see the cosmetic ads, right? And then think that the person behind the formulation of said cosmetics is you.
So
Have you
I
ever
will-
used a cosmetic in your life?
as little as I can. My boss is still irritated at me. I bought a 38-ounce bottle of shampoo, and it lasted me over 4 years. And it finally went out, and I bought a new one. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be more cautious. I'm going to get over 5 years of use out of this bottle of shampoo now.
There comes an age, Poppy, where people sit there and go, "This is going to be the last house I ever buy. This will be the house I die in." Mike has that conversation in the shampoo aisle. Look at that, 64 ounces. I'll never need to buy shampoo again.
So I will share with you that today I made, well, it was supposed to be a lip bronzer.
Mhm.
I don't know why. I don't understand color cosmetics in any way, shape, or form. And when I was finished, I would say color of your wall, but that I don't want to insult you. It looked more liver color almost.
No, I
And
know. Yeah.
I was just like, wow, this is truly ugly. I don't understand. And I asked the women, like, what do I do? It looks like liver. And they're like, no, when you rub it on, it'll go and you won't even see it. I'm like, then what's the point?
Then what's the point? Yeah.
But yeah, so I made liver colored lip bronzer today. So yay.
Did you do that on purpose?
I
Or was
followed
it
the
an
recipe poorly. It called for rose gold, but I didn't have it, so I just put bronze in instead and said, same thing.
I have so many follow-up questions, and it like makes me kind of want to flip the interview around and say, wait, so do you compound your own cosmetics?
So I work for a company in personal care. We make the raw ingredients that go to L'Oreal and P&G and all those in the world. So we have like 500 ingredients. So my job is to make formulations with our stuff that we then, assuming they're stable, we go like, look, this is great. Use our stuff. See? And so that's what I do is I make they're making me do color cosmetics, which I've fought off for 16 years, but sadly I've lost now. I'm the only one in our group, so someone has to make it, and that's me. But mostly shampoos, lotions.
Have you ever made anything that exploded?
No, not
fire?
don't care. At my old job before I came to this one in Florida, yes, I made things that exploded all the time. We used sodium metal that, when they hired new people, they would put them on the table with a knife to cut up the sodium blocks that were 20 pounds. And they'd be like, okay, it's going to rain in about 75 minutes, so you better be done before then. You don't want water to be hitting the sodium metal.
No.
And that was to weed out the people, like, run away, like screaming. It's like, okay, we didn't want him in our plant because it gets worse from there.
Mm-hmm. So I have 11 years as a pharmacy technician doing sterile compounding, but now I'm a chemist. So this is like a really interesting, wait, tell me more about this.
Another
Go ahead.
And Laura's a chemist also.
I'm a chemist also, yeah.
We're just going to have like Chemist Corner. We'll have Laura on and you on, and we can just all talk.
We should, yeah. Hi, Laura. Laura's one of my favorite people in the whole world.
I'm really glad she's in the chat, so I will get her name right and not call her Lori or something, because I I always get her name wrong when I see her live.
Well, you're kind of just combining the two, right? Laura, Huey, Lori.
Yeah. But then I'm like, Hugh, no, that's wrong.
Lori, oh, wait.
So it has become the Laura Huey love fest.
Mm-hmm. As it should be. I love that.
And there you go. There's some chemist humor.
Just say nah.
Oh my God.
A Nintendo is also one of my favorite people. In front of my OSHA handbook meeting. Yep. We went there.
So anyway, you have 2 books out. We're going to try to talk about your book for at least 5 minutes in this interview. You said you're working on something else?
Yeah. So so if you guys aren't familiar with the Inkport Press Derby, if you've watched the previous interview with Laura Huey or SF Henny, and I think Constance K as Tara Torrey has been on also, right?
Sorry, who is that? I was reading.
She's Constance K. She wrote Soul Taming the Serpent.
Yep, she's been on.
So those are all Inkport Derby books. Mine was also. What it is like you get 100 people, you sign up, they throw covers at you, and you have 4 months to write a book. And I am a glutton for punishment, so I did it again this year. And I wrote a 90,000 some odd word massive novel this year called An Ambitious Woman and Her Very Normal Pet. So that's next on the docket after I get the prequel out, is finalizing that. And I also have a cute little cozy witch isekai going on. That's a lot of fun.
How long did it take you to write a 90,000 word novel?
I'm sorry?
How long did it take you to write a 90,000 word novel?
All 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah, it sucked.
Do you have to schedule time, or did you just kind of sit there and go, I've got to do this tonight? Or
I did have to schedule time. And in fact, my husband didn't see a lot of me this summer. I don't get a lot of work done at home. There's too many distractions. I love my dogs. I get excited about things. I'm cleaning. I do a lot of productive procrastination. So I spent several $100s at the Starbucks down the street this summer. Easy.
So when you say it took you 3 months to write the 90,000, it wasn't just writing a first draft. It was writing, editing, getting everything ready, and publishing.
Yeah.
People try to do that once a year, and you did it in 3 months, and you did it twice in a row in 3 months.
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay, sure.
So do you laugh at us mere mortals who sit there and hunt and peck away over the course of about a year and try to get something done? While you're on book 4 or something,
I definitely don't, because the quality of the novels is not the same as spending a full year on it.
I don't know.
Boy, if I could sit down and edit for 2 months, I would okay, so in Not Your Mountain, and I have to re-release this. Sorry, my stutter came in. I have to re-release this because there are multiple instances where I name somebody Ava, and then in the next sentence, her name is Eloise or something, and then it's Elise in the next line.
Ooh.
And that could have been avoided with one more pass through, which would have just taken a day. But here we are. So with the fast output comes that drawback of where's your quality here? Because you can't hire an editor and you don't have the time to sit down and give it a full read through. So it's a give and take.
Why can't you hire an editor?
Because the event is a completely zero spend event. You cannot spend a dime. You can't even order your own print proofs.
So,
for you. The hell.
I have a question for you, Poppy. When you're writing this book and you're rushing,
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever included the same chapter twice in a row?
I haven't yet. When formatting, I have had the issue, but I catch it pretty quickly. Has this happened? Is that why?
No. I don't know any instance of it ever happening. Never. Nope.
Was it a copy paste issue?
Not in Haley Traveler at all. Not chapters 18 and 19 that are labeled 18 and 19 with the exact same text. Never would have happened. Never.
Yeah. No, I believe you. Never
As soon as
happened.
I get finished with these 200 hard copies that I bought, no one else will ever see it again.
Do they describe the word gaslighting in either chapter 18 or 19?
No.
Oh, okay.
Do they
No.
talk about what in chapter 18 or 19?
I asked if he defined gaslighting.
No, but he has some grape-like apparatus in low gravity. It's all very
Cringy.
It's all
It sounds
very
pretty ballsy, if you ask me.
NC-17.
You know, in order for me to write the next book, that's why I had to take up pole dancing with tassels.
You know,
Nintendo is killing it, by the way.
so Nintendo is one of my regular viewers on my Twitch stream as well, and this is exactly the way it is over there too.
Wait, you have a Twitch stream?
I do. So I interview authors and other storytellers, so audio narrators and audio drama writers, and I'm trying to get a poet and some songwriters on as well to get like the full storytelling experience. I interview people on Mondays, and then on Wednesdays we just have a co-writing productivity stream.
So what do you call yourself? Are you Twitchers? I'm gonna, Parkinson's. Maybe we're showing our support. I don't know what made you start Twitch, and what does one do on Twitch? Because I'm old, I don't know these things.
Yeah, that's okay. Twitch is normally for gamers and I think musicians, in the sense that it's a live platform for long form. So while we're sitting here for an hour to do this interview, my interviews go for 3 hours.
Holy shit! Really? What do you talk about for 3 hours?
Well, we only talk about an hour and a half or 2 hours of it usually, but anything.
For the rest of the time.
We write. We do some productivity. So the way that I have it set up is writing sprints interrupted by interview. So most sprint reviews, we get 2 or 3 writing sprints done. And the rest of it is just, hey, talk about your book. Let's talk about writing. Let's talk about storytelling. Let's talk about pickleball. I think I had JG Terrell on a couple weeks back, and we just talked about pickleball for 30 minutes. And I've never played, so that was fun.
See, I was going to ask you just talk about hats, these things. And you called them, what were they? Sprint reviews?
Sprint reviews, yeah. So like writing sprint with interview.
Nice.
Yeah. So we do the 20-minute Pomodoro to 25-minute interview, 20-minute, etc.
This is the second time that I've heard of this. I'm going to call it a phenomenon.
Okay.
So recently, I started a TikTok channel. And now, of course, they're going to get rid of TikTok in the United States, whatever. Anyway, and somebody said, you should read your book on TikTok, right? And I'm like, well, who the hell would sit there and watch me read a book?
They do.
You're saying that people sit there and watch you write.
Yeah. And people do.
Wow.
There's a whole category for it on Twitch.
And there's just people that sit there and watch people write.
Yeah. What it does is it incentivizes other people to get their stuff done. So one of the coping mechanisms for like ADHD is to use a body double. And what that is watching and participating with someone else doing something productive makes your brain say, I need to be doing something also, or else I'm sitting here feeling awkward and I don't like that feeling. So I'm going to be productive. And it works really well for me. That's the reason I started this. Is it started as I cannot hold myself accountable unless people are watching me, because otherwise I'm going to get up and walk around. And then I got lazy and it turned into, I need someone actually in the room with me. So I brought on a friend, and then between our sprints, we started talking, and we just started having these fantastic conversations about writing and everything like that, that it moved into, wait, I can bring authors on, and I can bring on other people, and I can bring on all sorts of people and have these amazing conversations. So that's where that came from.
Right. Okay. So like if I were to go on your show, we could actually write.
Yeah, we'd actually get stuff
I
done.
can get some work done instead of playing Civilization.
And that's the tricky bit. Are you playing Civilization right now? Who are you playing?
Well, I was just before we came on.
Well, what do you choose your country, or do you randomize it?
We randomize it. My son's here, and we play. We're playing Civ 6. Desperately waiting for Civ 7 to come out in February. But
what's your favorite run through so far?
Well, I only play one way, and that is to just ignore religion and culture altogether, and go heavy on science until I get bombers and tanks. And once I have a half a dozen bombers and a couple of tanks, doesn't take long.
No, that's a good way of doing it. I usually dive into, I do the opposite, and I always lose. So I figure maybe that's what I'm doing wrong.
It depends what you're trying to do, but the whole there's a lot more nuance to the game than I'm willing to learn.
I'll have to figure that out.
So can we go to the Bald Dome now?
Already? Holy shit, we've been doing this 36 minutes already.
So
wow.
Do you see how it's so easy to go from an hour to an hour and a half to 2 hours of talking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Poppy, have you ever seen the Bald Dome in action?
I did. I tuned in, or I didn't tune in to Ben Shinkman's last week.
Okay, so you know what's going on then.
I watched Nick die in real time.
So is Maddie the one who's going into the Bald Dome?
Yeah, let's throw Maddie in. Oh, sweet
All right.
Maddie. We'll do a young Maddie for those who know.
Okay. So Maddie has been magically sent. Where did you go? Where did you go?
Is this the person who got mugged?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
We'll just say that he's straight out of the mountain. He hasn't
So if
learned
he
it.
got magically sent somewhere, I'm guessing he's going to throw up when he gets there.
Probably. Yeah, just immediate upchuck.
Temporary displacement and all that.
Are you ready? He has been sent to a volcanic island inhabited by fire-breathing salamanders.
Oh boy. Okay.
What is your favorite color, Poppy? I'm going to guess yellow.
Yeah, we'll go with yellow.
Okay, he has a fizzy yellow potion. And now this is the point where he gets either a common item or a weapon, and he will face either a common animal or a fantasy creature, depending on which one he chooses.
Signal.
The writer wants to choose a common item, but Maddie would most absolutely choose the magical item. Yeah.
So instead of getting a shovel, he gets a halberd, which is an axe on top of a pole.
Yeah.
For people like me who don't know off the top of their head. So he has his halberd. So now instead of
You got bigger.
you come prepared. Alrighty. Instead of facing a black mamba, he must face a lumbering ogre on the volcanic island with fire-breathing salamanders. He has a halberd. He has just arrived. He's puked up his guts, dropped the halberd, and the noise called the ogre to come over to investigate what's going on. He picks it up. What happens next?
Okay, and he has a fizzy yellow potion, but we don't know what it does. And
Correct.
he has a halberd, and he's got fire-breathing and these salamanders are normally normal salamander size. They're not large. They're not monstrous. They're just
Yes, they are regular sized.
okay. What was the DC on that? I have to know.
Yeah, right. I'm kind of curious.
I rolled a 2, so I figured, yeah, they got to be regular size.
2?
That's
They should be
exactly
like
how I
minuscule. If it's a 2, they should be the size of a newt.
Mute.
Going in and halberd dancing, isn't it? To be determined. So he is looking at this lumbering ogre, and he's going to, set his fighting stance, and he's going to raise his halberd, and he's going to chug down the yellow fizzy potion.
Okay. He has just drank a potion of fire resistance. So actually helpful this time.
A little helpful. Yeah. Okay.
So now
And he knows that these effects have happened, right?
What's that?
He knows that this is the effect that is on
Yeah.
him. Okay.
So he can pick up the salamanders and throw them now.
Okay.
But that doesn't really help him against the ogre, does it?
It's worth a shot.
He needs a potion of stopping the getting the shit slapped out of you. Potion is what he needs.
I have questions for Alex, but let's finish this segment first.
I have questions also. Do you get warts? Are they fiery warts? So he's going
salamanders.
He's going to so this ogre's coming at him, and probably the was it 50 movement speed probably. So he's coming at him a lot faster than a dwarf can move, but he's going to pick up a salamander first, and he is going to try to as the kids say, yeet it at the ogre and see what happens first.
Our first use of the word yeet.
Perfect.
In like 100 since we've been doing this. Almost.
I'm so proud to be your first.
You've made Bald&Balding history.
Okay, so he's throwing the newt, and it probably is ineffectual.
Morgan, I don't know what you're talking about. That he is impervious to the salamanders. He is their god.
Oh, there we go. Morgan's smart. Morgan moderates my streams. I think that's the same Morgan I'm thinking of. BK eating roll, yeah. Where's my D20? Hold on.
So what did he yeet exactly?
The fire-breathing salamander at our guy coming
He
at
threw
us.
a salamander at an ogre.
Yep. That's his first thought as he was bracing his halberd.
Okay, bro. I rolled a 13. What does the ogre do when the salamander hits him? Doesn't make him run away scared. No.
No, it doesn't.
Look at it like, what, did you just throw a freaking salamander at me? The hell?
And Maddie's going to like grasp his halberd and just literally just yell at the ogre and see if it does anything.
19.
Ooh, well.
So it is an objectionable sound that the ogre is hearing, and it really bothers him greatly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, an objectionable sound like top 20 pop or
Yes, like 80s top 20 pop on repeat.
Don't easy there, son.
70s country music on constant replay.
Poppy, when you're sitting there holding your little pot like this, it kind of looks like you just remind me of Oliver Twist. Sir, may I have another? Would you need the pot, please?
I have 2 bags of Earl Grey in there. Can I have another?
Does the ogre start line dancing when he hears the country music? That is the question.
That is the question.
It is the story.
Mike, I think Ro hates us.
No, I'm just seeing line dancing ogres now, and I can't. It's burning into my retinas, and I don't know what to do. Oh my God, a real question.
So,
did you just snort? Was that you?
Yeah.
I think that's another first.
Yeah, I started to laugh. It gets everybody. I'm sorry.
So
that's how we'll introduce you in Fantasy Feud from now on: is snorting Poppy with the yellow hat.
With the yellow hat. And the X. And the screaming dwarf. It sounds like a Flock of Salamander song just came on. Perhaps their hit single, I Retreated.
No, let's go back to Bo, because this was a legitimate question that
I'm happy to answer that question. Twitch specifically, because I can do the long form, so the 3 hours is not a problem for uploading and so on and so forth. I haven't played with the YouTube Live yet. I found more of an audience in Twitch for productivity, co-working. But I do have a YouTube channel that I'm building so that I can post the interviews post-edit, where they're only about an hour and a half long, in podcast form. So I'm working on that. That's in the works. I swear. It's happening. Totally.
And how long have you been twitching?
Almost a year. I started in February.
Nice.
Yeah.
How long did it take before you weren't just sitting there talking to yourself in the void?
Isn't that what I do anyways?
I mean, I'm assuming people actually watch, right?
Just like a single tear. No, I would say I talk to myself maybe 2 weeks or so. But there are still some streams where I'll pop on and I'll just be sitting by myself. Wednesdays tend to be that way, actually.
But I guess if you're writing, it doesn't really matter, right? Because you're going to do that by yourself anyway.
Yeah,
So-
but I get a lot more distracted when I don't have people watching me. So I'll end up playing video games on the side and I'm not getting anything done.
How often do you kind of have to spare an eyeball to see if there's anybody out there, if they and now is Twitch a platform where if someone joins you, you can hear them, or is it all chat based like this?
It's all chat based, just like this.
Okay.
So
So you kind of have to keep an eyeball out in the chat to see if anybody's there.
and I see viewers, like I see the number of viewers that I have. So in addition to my bot, which handles messages like Discord announcements and things like that. If I get 2, I know that I have 1 person watching me, or if I get 4, I have 3 people watching me. So even if they're not responding or talking or engaging, I talk to them as if they're there, even if they're probably bots trying to sell me views and comments.
You speak to them in Russian, they answer better.
Mhm.
So what kind of video games, what's your video game du jour or of choice when you're procrastinating?
Ooh, the one right now that I'm in is My Time at Sandrock, which is a it's kind of like a farm simulator, except instead of a farm, you have machines and you're an engineer and you have to collect resources and build these things for the town. So it's very fun.
Like a farming game where you farm resources and do stuff with it.
Yeah, and you fill commissions and things like that. So not super unlike Stardew Valley in that sense. It's just machines instead of plants, if that makes sense.
I guess that's probably a better kind of game to get into for something like that, because you can just kind of put it aside real quick and it doesn't matter.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. I'm not an addict. How dare you suppose that I would ever be?
Did you do this when you were doing your 90,000 word book in 3 months?
Oh, this year I did some My Time at Sandrock. I think I was more into Baldur's Gate 3.
How far did you get in that?
Act 3, but not very far through. And I missed so much.
Because like when the original Baldur's Gate came out in the 90s, when I think it arrived on like 10 CD-ROMs.
Yeah.
Original version. And my wife would play it until like the wee hours of the morning.
Bro, you may have to explain what a CD-ROM is.
Right. Yeah. Anyway.
If it makes you feel better, I still have all 5 CDs to install Sims 2 in a box somewhere.
Okay. And if you're watching this and you don't know what a CD-ROM is,
why are you here? Go to bed.
You have homework to do, I'm sure. Go. Where was I going with this? Yeah, so the first Baldur's Gate was great fun, and we got the new one. I'm very excited when we got it. And honestly, the save icon. Yes, I don't think I got much beyond that opening, spaceship crash with the mind flayers.
Yeah.
Just because it's one of those things. It's like if I get into this game, it's like the Hogwarts game that came out a year or so ago. Did you play that?
I did.
Yeah, it's a brilliant game, right? But I would never write another word if I let myself get really into those games.
Yes. I have that problem with MMOs, so massively multiplayer online role-playing games. My husband's getting me into New World right now, and I have to really rein it back. Like I'm only allowed to play this game 1 time a week and only for 2 hours, or the house is going to hell in a handbasket and the dogs will not be fed.
Right.
I can relate.
So how do you market your books?
I market them to a D&D community because I'm a DM. I've played D&D since high school. I've that's kind of one of my niche communities. And Not Your Mountain is very D&D-esque. It's got that spur of the moment, spontaneity. Well, spontaneous comedy is what I was trying to say, but my tongue wanted to put them together.
Okay.
In the sense of, when you start a campaign and you really just want to get from point A to point B, but your characters decide to stare at the rocks for too long, and the rocks are suddenly your enemies. That's kind of the way that this book was kind of written. And I really, really enjoyed it in that aspect. So I really find my people in game stores, like stores that sell Magic the Gathering, and they have weekly D&D nights. Those are my crowd, and I do really well selling to that community.
Nice.
I just found out that there's a place up in Roanoke that is the largest purveyor of Magic the Gathering cards in the world.
Really?
Apparently so.
Wow.
Who knew? Yeah. Another thing that I can't really get into because it takes too much time. Everybody needs people like that. That's awesome that you have those people.
I do. I have such an amazing community of people that I gush about this all the time. I've met so many incredible people over the last year, and they're also encouraging and supportive, and I couldn't do without them. Not to get all mushy.
Star City Games, Alex. That is it.
Yeah, Star City Games is we have one nearby here too. I think that are they a franchise?
We're good.
Hey. I have a Star City games in El Paso, Texas. Is it the same kind of brand or is it different?
I don't know.
That'll be good to know. I'll have to look that up later.
So
yeah, it's just my son plays it, and when I play Magic with him, it's kind of annoying, really, because he builds decks and I just take random cards and and it gets ugly, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Poppy, I have my second question that's debuting tonight.
Oh, no.
I thought you asked him already.
I thought so too.
I thought you asked 2 brand new questions and a follow-up we weren't expecting.
Yeah, well, I'm crazy. So, okay, Poppy, here's the scenario.
Okay.
You and Maddie are boarding a plane to fly to Maui.
Okay.
What issues arise? Is it TSA? Is it the flight attendants? Is he afraid of heights? The seatbelt? And what does Maddie do once he lands? Does he try to dig up the pig to eat early? Does he go surfing? Explain what happens with Maddie on board this plane.
Maddie is Murphy's Law's favorite person. This poor kid cannot catch a break, okay? So we would get stuck at TSA. We would get on the plane just in time, right before the doors close. There would be so much turbulence. He would get sick. Everybody would be sick. There's probably somebody who has a cardiac arrest on the plane. We have to land, and then we get up again. And when we get there, he opens his luggage to find that everything fell out at some point, and now his luggage is empty.
Jeremy has going right where I wanted to go, which is, does he check his halberd?
Does he check his halberd for the ogre? I would say no. I think that he's reasonable enough to understand that he cannot take his weapons across intercontinental oceans, and maybe that would be enough to persuade him. But
there are people who live here now in the real world who don't understand that.
Okay, so we're taking him as fantasy character. I think he would probably speak to reason, though. That let's leave that at home. But when we get there, I think he would just be.
Would he be mugged?
He would definitely get mugged. He'd probably give the rest of his money to someone who says that to a taxi driver or someone that takes him way out of the way and charges him way over the price, and he has to walk back to the hotel. And but he would sit and watch the ocean, I think. And he does a lot of that, not your bargain. And he just needs to relax.
Hey, Poppy, Is there something we need to know about your bad lax? Because I've seen comments like this a couple of times tonight.
It's not because his weapon is deadly. It's because it contains more than 4 ounces of liquids. I think that's a TSA joke. What's the other jokes?
Somebody was just mentioning something when you held up your battle axe, that it was like a liquid battle axe, and I didn't know if it was one of those things that you could pop open the top and, like, you know.
Oh, I wish. No, it's foam. It is real foam. So great. I had Michael Milwassel, author of Paragon, on, and I asked them how I would survive, and they asked if this was real, and I said, sure, it could be. Let's just make it real. Let me see if I can survive in your world. But yeah, nope, nothing fancy about it. I wish. If somebody could 3D print that, let me know how much supplies are.
All right. That would be the perfect thing.
So do you go to Comic-Cons to sell your books, or just game shops?
I'm going to Albuquerque Comic-Con in January over Martin Luther King Jr. weekend. And the actor for Gimli is there, so I'm going to try to track him down and hand him a book of Not Your Mountain and just run off into the crowd and disappear. I think we also have the actor for Samwise Gamgee coming in, so that's also very exciting. My biggest
scholar in real life.
Huh?
Sean asked any scholar in real life.
Yeah.
So are you going to call him Samwise? You're going to call him Rudy? Okay.
And I did Bubonicon back in September, which is a local convention, science fiction fantasy. I'm aiming to eventually become a vendor at NorwestCon because I do really well with the science fiction fantasy crowd.
What is ALBU?
Albuquerque.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, whenever I talk about Albuquerque, they bring up the lyrics to Weird Al Yankovic's Albuquerque song.
Oh, I should have taken a left at Albuquerque.
That's right. Oh, Bugs Bunny.
Yeah. Yeah, ALBUQUERQUE.
Sure. I believe you. I'll trust you there.
That was the only way we were allowed to pass first grade. I'll have you know. We had to be able to spell Albuquerque.
Did you drink that whole
It's gone.
jar of tea?
I did.
Good God.
I'll put honey in it next time.
Tremendous amount of liquid, and I almost have to go to the bathroom for you after watching someone drink that much.
You used to have 2 R's.
That's crazy. I don't know what Laura means.
I think Albuquerque.
Okay. We're still on that.
Well, it's not like Truth or Consequences, which is also a town in New Mexico.
I knew that.
Yeah.
I did know. It was also a game show once upon a time.
It was.
That's how the town got its name.
You guys know the lore. Nobody knows the lore. I'm very excited. Thank you.
No, we know. Because we're old. You see.
And Bo has a question I meant to ask earlier, and I did not. So,
I think possibly not, Mr. Kelly. Michael might. When is it?
It is August 13th to 17th, something like that.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna try. I have to figure out my finances for this year, but it is on the things that I want to do. But Bubonicon is a week later, and if I can get the time off of work for both, I would love to. So we'll see.
So much really depends on what happens starting in January as a member of the employed community who individuals want to throw out of a job. We shall see.
Okay. Well, good luck. Godspeed.
Yeah, right? Good times. Give me more time to write. For food, one of the two.
Right, or rent. Nah.
That's right.
So at WorldCon, I have told Palmer Pickering that I will be her assistant at the free lounge.
Okay.
It was the free library, but since you don't actually return the books, they're calling it the free lounge now.
Gotcha. I'll have to keep an eye out for you. Do you guys go to NorwestCon also or no?
Where's that?
It's also in Seattle. It's in April.
So we live in Virginia, so no.
Oh, okay.
It's a bit of a drive.
Just a small little bit of a drive.
It's only 3,000 miles.
Well, hey, my brother-in-law lives in Virginia. I'll have to come and visit.
I tell you what, I would honestly be more probably likely to go.
There's more in here. Sorry.
Four people together in a van and drove across the country.
Oh, that'd be fun. Have you ever been on an Amtrak across the country?
No.
Does Amtrak go across the country?
I think it's 2 or 3 trains. I think it transitions in Chicago. Yeah.
It would be much faster to drive.
It would.
I can get to Vermont in about 12 hours, or I can take Amtrak and it takes 25.
With delays. Well, that's before delays because if somebody gets stuck
on the car when you get there. So
yeah.
Nothing in Vermont is walking distance. So
I could not.
You know, when I was in college, my parents paid to put me on a Greyhound bus to get home for Christmas, and I asked them why they hated me so.
Yeah, but when you were in college, people paid for tuition with farm animals. So, that's a real thing, by the way. People used to do that.
Oh, I know. I'm at a land grant university. It's an ag school here in New Mexico. And yeah, they did.
The first person here at Virginia Tech brought a cow with him, and that's how he paid his tuition. He walked 18 miles and said, "Here's a cow." And they went, "Okay."
Our first ever graduate was murdered by a cowboy a few weeks before he graduated.
Wow, that's
walking out of a saloon in 1889, I believe.
And that's the story the university decided to go with. They couldn't say, "Well, who was next?" He
was the only one in his graduating class too.
So he
was delivering milk. Sorry.
So the graduating class of one didn't actually graduate, and they had to lower the flag for him. Wow, the people who the very initial cadre of development people must have really been annoyed. It's like he just wiped out our entire alumni base. What do we do now?
Luckily, they had, I think, 30 people graduate the next year. But yeah, it was in the NMSU became a thing in 1886. And so I think it was 1889 was their first graduating class with Sam Steele. And Sam Steele was delivering milk for his father's dairy and got shot by a cowboy walking out of his saloon.
So who was the first actual graduate? Because it wasn't Sam.
Oh, I don't know. They don't tell us that.
They went into witness protection, Ro.
Do we know the name of the cowboy?
The cowboy actually got let off. He was deemed innocent by, I believe, Doñana County, but I'm not super sure.
He was innocent.
Yeah.
Is this how the Milkman stories get started?
I think so. Yeah, Wild Wild West. Here we go.
This is America in a nutshell, isn't it? It really is. It's like
using
drunk dude with a gun kills rando, just doing his job, and he's like, "Yeah, you're fine."
Yeah. Well, I have one last question before Mike throws us out. Did Maddie die?
It's up to you. You're telling the story.
Oh, we're still on that.
Bro, what happened with the ogre? We never heard.
What do you want happened to ogre? Do you want your boy to finish him off?
He was line dancing last we heard.
Oh, he was line dancing. Okay.
Maybe does your guy maybe say, "Hey, this works," and throws a whole bunch of salamanders at it, and the ogre, not being impervious to fire, gets burned little by little?
Sure, we'll go with that.
Just a big pile of charred flesh sitting there. You know what the sad part is? The ogre was ready to graduate from ogre school, and he never got a chance to. He was the first one.
Yeah, as you can tell, we're professionals at this.
3 snorts in one show. And a yeet. 3 snorts and a yeet.
3 snorts and a yeet.
If I brewed beer, that would be the name of my next beer. 3 snorts and a yeet.
I do brew beer, and I will name my next brew after that for you, bro.
Fantastic.
Yeah, 3 snorts and a yeet.
I will drive to New Mexico and pick up a case.
All right. Thank you guys so much for having me on. This is a lot of fun.
Well, thank
Ogre
you.
crap.
We'll have to check you out on Twitch if we can figure out how to work it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll probably invite you guys on at some point because this is a lot of fun. I don't know if you have 3 hours to spare on a Monday night, but I'd love to have you guys talk.
Monday would be harsh, you know, but the right Thursday or Friday, and we could just sit around and get drunk.
Hey, there we go. We just won't tell Twitch that.
Just won't what?
We won't tell Twitch. It has to be in closed containers like this.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why you have the honey pot.
Yeah, actually, I've been drinking booze this whole time.
It's Long Island iced tea, isn't it?
With actual tea. Yeah, this time.
All right. So I would like to thank all the folks who came and hung out with us. And for those folks who just joined us recently, I'm sorry, but we're about done. And you can go and watch the whole thing after. Poppy, hold up your books one more time, please, real quick.
Yes.
And if you have been watching this, you know that Not Your Mountain and Not Your Bargain, you should go get those, because if they're half as fun as Poppy makes them out to be, you are spending your money wisely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you like D&D and you like a little bit of comedy, definitely check out Not Your Mountain. Very fun. And then if you want a little bit more of a serious note, follow up with Not Your Bargain.
All right.
Hey.
All right.
Well, thank you. We've got to the awkward wave portion. Either that or I'm going to start pole dancing.
Thanks, everybody. Nope. Let's go. Quick. Bye.